Such an inept slacker. You should hurry up and cut ties with my son as soon as possible. My husband's parents cruelly demanded a divorce from me, who had lost both legs in a traffic accident and was forced to live in a wheelchair. It pains me to think about my husband's burden, but he always supports me with kindness. He encourages me to overcome this ordeal together. What are they plotting, trampling on their son's sincerity? There are times when I feel like giving up, but I can't just sit and let time pass. I will expose their conspiracy with my husband's help. I am Stacy, 30 years old. My husband Finn is 32 years old. I studied music at a university and aspired to become an opera singer while working in sales for a major musical instrument manufacturer. I met Finn 3 years ago through an acquaintance, and we quickly started dating. That was just about the time when I had returned from studying abroad in Germany and joined a Japanese music agency, and I was starting to pass domestic opera auditions one after another. It was a time when the path to becoming an opera singer, a dream I've had since childhood, was opening up. So when Finn proposed to me during those days, I could confidently accept it. Having an opera singer for a wife is quite impressive, isn't it?
Yes, for sure. I'm so happy our son found such a wonderful lady.
Both my parents-in-law and my parents were overjoyed. We had a grand wedding, inviting many friends. Though there were some adjustments we had to make for our newlywed life, Finn was kind and we respected each other, so there were no misunderstandings. We also had a good relationship with my parents and in-laws, occasionally going out for meals together. During this peak of happiness, that day I had gone back to my parents' house alone. Finn was at work and I had the day off. I would have been bored if I had stayed at home alone, so I decided to relax at my parents' house. My parents and I decided to have lunch out, and we had our father drive. It was then that our car my father was driving got into an accident and my parents passed away. I also lost both my legs in that accident. Of course, I could no longer stand on the opera stage, and I had to withdraw from all the auditions I had passed. The music agency also terminated my contract. Losing my parents, my legs, and my dream, I was in despair. Adding to my misery, my in-law's attitude drastically changed.
We can't accept a daughter-in-law who loses her job so soon after marriage. You're worthless.
That's right, and with that body you can't possibly find another job. Just divorce my son already. My in-laws would deliberately visit the hospital at different times from Finn and repeatedly berate me. Shocked by the accident and the loss of my parents, I took their words to heart. Finn, I'm only causing you trouble. No one would blame you if you left me. For your sake, let's get a divorce. In my lowest mental state, when I told him this, Finn still gently stood by me.
It's impossible that you're only causing trouble. As long as you're with me, I have the strength to keep going.
But your parents... When I told him his parents' words, Finn became furious.
What? They said that? I'm truly sorry. I won't let those two see you anymore. So please, don't talk about divorce.
I cried my heart out at Finn's words. Although my mental state didn't recover immediately, Finn continued to support me warmly. Thanks to my husband's support and treatment, by the time I was discharged from the hospital, I was determined to continue our married life. Then a few months passed. Although I still occasionally cried when I remembered what I had lost, Finn and I were leading a peaceful life together. I had become somewhat accustomed to life in a wheelchair and started to take on new challenges with a positive attitude, which Finn warmly washed over. However, these calm days were shattered by the sudden visit of my husband's parents. Stacy, we've come to see you.
Hey, hurry up and let us in.
I was surprised to see my in-laws when I answered the intercom on a day when Finn was out. Why? As I managed to open the door in my wheelchair, my in-laws entered the house without hesitation. Why? We came because we were worried about you two. You've always been an inconsiderate daughter-in-law. It's them who are the inconsiderate ones. While making harsh remarks, they looked around the living room.
I thought you'd be living sloppily because you're disabled, but it's not too bad.
My father-in-law started opening drawers and rifling through the magazine rack. Please, stop. Why have you come to visit us now? I angrily asked as I finally caught up to them in my wheelchair, and they both let out deep sighs. I told you we came to check on you because we were worried.
Yeah, Stacy, you really are a rude daughter-in-law. Can't you at least serve us something to drink? Oh, with that body, I guess you can't.
My father-in-law sneered while glancing at my legs. His cruel smile made me want to cry. Oh, poor Finn. Marrying a woman who can't do anything, having to take care of her. We'll have to come and support him more often. At my mother-in-law's sudden decision, I hastily shook my head. No, thank you. We have enough hands around here. There's no way you have enough. Do you understand that you're a burden? You have no right to refuse.
You useless freeloader, keep your mouth shut. We're just worried about our dear Finn.
When they said it was for Finn's sake, I couldn't argue back. It's true that I was causing him a lot of trouble with my situation.
Well, we'll be going for the day. We'll come again.
After they had looked around the house, they suddenly left. Their visit was like a storm, leaving me exhausted in my wheelchair. Will they really come again? Why, all of a sudden? I spent the time until Finn came home feeling uneasy.
What? My parents came here? Why?
Finn, who returned home late from work, was genuinely surprised by his parents' visit. They said they came because they were worried about our living situation.
How could they say such horrible things to you? I'll message them to find out what they were thinking.
But Finn, you're busy, so you don't have to rush. You have a long business trip coming up. Finn was about to go on a week-long overseas business trip. I didn't want him to worry about things at home.
Thank you, Stacy. Make sure to take it easy while I'm away.
My husband always cares for me. If only those parents weren't around. But if they come again, I can just pretend not to be home. I felt a little guilty, but I needed to prioritize my mental health. But this naive thought later turned into regret.
Stacy, are you here? We've come.
As soon as Finn left for his trip, my in-laws opened the front door and entered the house. What? Why are you two? Why? We told you before. We came because we're worried about you two. Did you forget? You really are an incompetent daughter-in-law. No, not the reason for coming. How did you get in without a key? I hadn't moved from the living room. The intercom hadn't rung. While thinking if I had forgotten to lock the door, I saw my father-in-law wave a key.
We got a spare key from Finn, so now we can come anytime we want.
You're lying, right? I couldn't believe Finn would give them a spare key. When I said this reflexively, my mother-in-law glared at me harshly. It's not a lie. Finn told us to look after you while he's away. Poor Finn, married to a wife who can't even manage the house.
Instead of managing it, Stacy, you're likely to wreck it. Finn must be regretting this marriage by now.
Their words made me indignant. I had never heard Finn say he regretted our marriage, and we had been living happily together. I've never wrecked the house. There are things I can't do, but I regularly hire a housekeeper. Perhaps offended by my rebuttal, the two began to say even worse things. Hiring a housekeeper? How extravagant. If you were healthy, you wouldn't have that expense, would you? What do you think about that?
Exactly. A wife should live frugally and serve her husband. Stacy, aren't you the opposite?
You're just a useless complainer. Their words made me hopeless. Seeing my distress, they seemed satisfied and began to roam around the living room and kitchen triumphantly. Oh, this meat looks delicious. We'll have this for lunch.
Oh, there's good wine too. Finn must be earning well. Let's drink this as well.
I couldn't stop them from rummaging through the fridge and wine rack. I feared they would say even more terrible things if I tried to argue. That day, they did as they pleased, leaving the house in a mess before going home. Why is this happening? Did Finn really ask them to come? I looked around the messy house, too despondent to contact my husband and confirm. And the nightmare-like visits continued day after day. You can't do anything. You know Finn wants a divorce, right?
You're really a worthless burden. Free my son.
Leave him already. I endured their relentless insults for a whole week, leaving me completely depressed. Could my husband really be regretting our marriage as they say? Feeling down, I sat in the dark room after they left. Flashes of the time when I lost my parents in the accident came back and I couldn't stop crying.
Stacy, what's wrong? Did something happen?
The lights suddenly came on and Finn, with a surprised look, hurried over to me. Today was the day Finn returned from his overseas trip. I had even forgotten that, lost in my thoughts. The barrage of insults had left my mind numb, and I started crying even more. Finn, let's get a divorce.
What? Why would you say that?
Because I'm a burden. You gave your parents a key and asked them to check on me, didn't you? When I tearfully told him about the past week, my husband looked astonished.
Me? Giving my parents a key and asking them to check on you? And saying I want a divorce? That's impossible.
Hearing my husband clearly deny it made my tears finally stop.
Stacy, I'm sorry. My parents have made you go through so much.
Well, I should have called or messaged you, but their words made me so depressed.
It's understandable. You've had a tough past. Just when you were starting to overcome it, this is unforgivable. But how did they get a key to our house?
My husband, looking serious, pondered for a while.
I'll have to talk to them directly. They have a knack for taking action. What are they up to?
If their own son says so, it means his parents are the type of people who would do anything for their goals. As I came to my senses, I felt a bubbling anger at the sheer cruelty of their lies. No matter what they're planning, it's unforgivable. Insulting me like that? Even though they're your parents, I can't stand it.
Yeah, I no longer consider them my parents.
But how can we expose their intentions? As I worried, Finn took out his phone.
I'll reschedule my next trip.
Why?
Because...
As I listened to my husband's explanation, I understood. As their son who knew them inside out, Finn could see through their intentions. I will definitely expose the plot of the two who insulted me without hesitation. People who dig into others' painful pasts cannot be forgiven. One day, while my husband and I were relaxing at home, as expected, the front door opened and we heard the noisy footsteps of his parents.
Stacy, I'm sure you're spending another lazy day.
The two entered the living room and were surprised to see both Finn and me there. Oh, why is Finn here?
Finn, what about your trip?
I moved forward resolutely in front of the two who were flustered by the unexpected situation of my husband being home. You two were targeting Finn's absence to come here, weren't you?
What are you talking about? We couldn't have known about Finn's trip schedule.
That's right, it's a coincidence. I actually wanted to see Finn. The two were flustered, not expecting my husband to be home, and I pressed them further. Last time you came, you sneakily looked at the calendar in the bedroom. All our plans are written there.
I didn't change the calendar plans and postponed my trip. And I never gave you a key. Why lie about it?
And worrying about our lives is a lie too, isn't it? Why did you suddenly show up? Cornered by our questions, the two became desperate and started insulting me again. My mother-in-law, sweating nervously, growled.
You're so rude, you useless daughter-in-law. Don't talk back until you've earned enough money on your own.
That's right. Finn wouldn't want a wife who can't do housework or earn money, right? No need to protect her. Tell us the truth, Finn.
Stop belittling Stacy. I want to be with her.
Seeing their son defending me, their faces twisted in anger.
A useless freeloader can never be accepted as a daughter-in-law. You could remarry a much better lady. Get a divorce.
No one will look down on you for dishing a wife with no family and no income. People will pity you. I signaled to my husband, who was about to argue, and calmly spoke. I don't work for a company, but I do have a job. And I do have an income, you know.
What? Impossible. Don't say something so ridiculous. You can't go out alone.
My father-in-law sneered arrogantly, while my mother-in-law laughed at my wheelchair. I was furious, but I knew better than to get caught up in their pace. I smiled back. I actually didn't realize until Finn suggested it, but nowadays you can work from home. Thanks to Finn's encouragement and support, I started posting covers of opera songs. Finn's clients, music school students, posted their performances as a hobby, and Finn suggested I do the same. When I uploaded a video of me singing the magic flute, it got a great response. I'm now a YouTuber with a significant number of subscribers. My initial videos were quite amateurish, but I sang with professional seriousness and confidence. The positive comments boosted my spirits and I kept uploading videos. As a result, my subscriber count kept increasing. Hearing this, their faces filled with confusion.
Uploading videos? And what is this? The magic flute? Some kind of booze?
No, dear. How embarrassing. It's a name of an idol group. Finn finally spoke to his ignorant parents.
It's a famous opera composed by Mozart.
He sighed at their lack of culture.
Stacy is an opera singer. so she sings opera and other requested songs on her channel. Opera, we knew that. Of course we knew it was opera.
Yes, don't act so high and mighty. So Stacy, you're just singing then. What's so great about that? You're still a burden to Finn. Unable to grasp the concept of earning money from videos, they continued to rant.
You're only singing and have no knowledge. You can't do housework and have no family support.
That's right. Even if you have a degree, you only sang for it. Finn deserves someone better. They glanced sideways at my husband. Noticing their looks, Finn sighed deeply.
If you have something to say it clearly. What's the reason for suddenly coming here and picking on Stacy?
Finn's words made them look at each other and get serious.
Finn, actually, there's a girl we want you to marry.
She's the daughter of a local landowner. She owns a lot of land nearby. She's an only child, so when her parents are gone, it'll all be yours, Finn.
What?
My husband and I were dumbfounded by the sudden proposal, but the two pressed Finn seriously. Don't worry, Finn. Nowadays being divorced isn't a big deal. The problem is with your wife. Get divorced quickly and remarry her.
Right. So Stacy signed the divorce papers. A singing parasite is a disgrace to our family. Leave Finn already.
They were so close, possibly about to grab onto me, so I backed away in my wheelchair. What are you saying?
Yeah, both of you have no sense.
My husband stood protectively between me and his parents, but they didn't back down. Who has no sense? If you divorce her and remarry, not only you, but we'll all benefit from it.
Finn, it's time to give back to your parents. Divorce that useless singer. The girl you're going to remarry graduated from a prestigious school and can do all household chores. We already told her you'll be divorced, so no worries there.
My husband snapped at their selfish motives.
In the end, you only think of yourselves. I'm not interested in marrying a landowner's daughter. Stacy is a millionaire, so I'm not worried. I'll have Stacy support me from now on.
Hearing Finn's confident words, their faces turned pale and their eyes lit up with greed. What? Why does Stacy have that much money? I felt deep contempt for them as dollar signs seemed to shine in their eyes. Finn explained smoothly.
You may not know, but if a video goes viral these days, you can earn a lot. Really?
Oh, Stacy, why didn't you tell us sooner? Their attitude changed completely and they smiled brightly at me. My husband continued.
Stacy is getting many concert offers from overseas. My trips are for negotiations. Stacy will get busier soon and might join the ranks of international celebrities.
They jumped in joy and cozied up to me, talking sweetly. I'm so sorry for not knowing. We just wanted to test your resilience.
Yeah, Stacy, you're amazing. A global diva, as expected of our son's wife.
Their second sudden change of attitude left me speechless. They continued in front of my open-mouthed silence. Since Stacy's busy singing, we should move in and take care of the house then.
Yes, that's right. Stacy, you can go overseas and sing opera without worry. Is it okay to move in tomorrow?
Their absurd proposal made me dizzy, and I felt that continuing this conversation would make me faint. Finn calmly looked back at me.
What do you think?
Taking a deep breath, I declared in a low voice, There's no way I would live with you two, and there's no way I'd support you. My resolute words made them gasp.
What? Stacy? Don't be so stubborn. We're offering to help you bring your wonderful singing to the world.
Exactly. If we're here, you can earn money without worrying about the house. With $1 million, supporting us wouldn't be a burden. Smiling, I unleashed my anger at them. Only singing to earn my degree? Unable to do housework? A worthless burden? I remember everything you said to insult me. But that's because we didn't know you had $1 million. So money makes it all okay? You're despicable. I never want to see you again. Despite my words, they kept arguing, so Finn intervened.
Well, aren't you trespassing today? What? And how did you get our key in the first place? Depending on the situation, it could be theft. Do I need to call the police? No. We just noted the master key code from the drawer.
Master key? I asked, and they quickly explained. Yes, you can easily make a duplicate if you know the master key code these days.
It's convenient, right? So we didn't take the key, so don't call the police.
That's stalking behavior, I gasped, and Finn sighed deeply.
These two are hopeless. I can't stand this anymore. I think we should call the police.
Seeing Finn's determined face, they turned pale. My father-in-law desperately shouted at my husband.
The police? But we're your parents. It doesn't matter, I'm cutting ties with you two.
As Finn took out his phone, they hurried to stop him. Wait, Finn, it's a misunderstanding. We'll leave the key and go. We can't live our life if the neighbors find out our son called the police on us. They fled in a hurry, still glancing regretfully at me. In the now quiet living room, I smiled wryly at my husband. Well, maybe a millionaire was an exaggeration, but the overseas tour is true. I don't have $1 million. But as Finn said, my videos are going viral and I am gaining international attention. Finn has quit his job to support me. Now, without my in-laws, I can focus on singing. I sighed with relief. After leaving our house, the in-laws' situation worsened as expected. Their luxurious lifestyle crumbled spectacularly. Realizing they couldn't have the comfortable retirement they had dreamed of, they tried to use their son as a sacrificial pawn. They proposed a marriage with a family owning the most land in the neighborhood, but their shallow scheme was quickly thwarted by us. The prospective family not only learned for the first time that Finn wasn't divorced, but also became furious at the way they tried to push us into despair. Furthermore, it was revealed that their intentions were purely monetary, leading to a flood of criticism from the neighbors. Unable to bear the disgrace, the prideful couple left their familiar town. Their lavish spendings had left them with zero savings. Their only pension was consumed by debt repayment. They had to sell their house and move into a shabby apartment. But I felt no pity for them. Our life, on the other hand, became wonderfully busy. The videos we posted maintained its popularity, and responding to requests was enjoyable. Finn honed his video editing skills, and together we uploaded many videos as a couple. The overseas concerts were a great success, leading to more offers, both domestic and international. The most gratifying part was receiving messages from people inspired by my perseverance in pursuing my dreams despite losing both legs. I never imagined that continuing what I love could encourage others. Beside me is my kind husband who fully supports everything I want to do. And around the world are fans who look forward to my singing. I am blessed with my life right now.